Hi, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Healed and Chilled. And today we have yet another wonderful, amazing, and special guest. And you guys already know how I like to do it. I like for the guest to have control of the narrative. So, if you would, in your own words, in your own point of view, can you please introduce yourself and we'll dive right into the interview?
Absolutely. Hi, I'm so excited to be here, Yana. Thank you. I'm Cathy Nesbitt. I am a laughter ambassador, a health and wellness advocate, and I help people get out of stress and into joy using laughter techniques,
Mm.
laughter wellness. And I know we'll dive more into it. I'm located in Canada, just north of Toronto, for so people know where I'm tuning in from. And yeah, I'm really excited for our conversation.
Me too. And I just from speaking to you and feeling your energy, you do have a very I'll say like floaty, like it just seem very light and like just like So can you tell us, were you always someone who sought after happiness and good vibes and laughter, or was that something that you had to grow into as life
Mm.
sort of presented alternative viewpoints?
That's a great one. Yes, I know because it's funny when you see people who have kind of found their way
Hmm.
and done a lot of inner work and stuff, they do have this kind of floaty energy. That's where I am. A lot of work has been put into this.
Yeah.
I'm 62 now.
Oh wow.
Definitely not. I was a secretary for, oh gosh, 20 years, and I didn't know any better.
Oh.
So I would change jobs. I was a great secretary, but I was a people pleaser. So you asked, was I always?
Mm.
No, I was in pursuit of the person liking me.
Mm.
I was in pursuit of doing what others wanted. So this is way better. And anyone
Yeah.
listening, stop it if you're doing that too. Don't waste your time pleasing others. 'Cause please yourself, and then everything falls into place. It does get flowy. It's so beautiful.
Mm.
We're really not taught this stuff. So yeah, and I was a great secretary. Let me say that. It gave me a lot of skills to be an entrepreneur.
Mm.
Right, like the keyboarding for sure,
Yeah.
customer service, talking to people, phone, opening the mail. Right? Okay, we don't need to do that anymore. Right, but a lot of the skills, and I didn't know at the time, I really thought being a secretary was my lot in life. So I made
Mm.
sure that I was happy in each job that I was in. Like to kind of go back to your question about happiness, I did always seek to be. Someone died. My stepfather died early on in my life. I was 21 and he was
Oh, sorry.
38, and that affected me in a way that was so profound. It changed the way I looked at work. And I don't know
Mm.
why. I said I'm never going to stay in a job that doesn't serve me,
Mm.
and I never did. I never
Period.
did. So I would change jobs, almost yearly. And then the last 10 years I was a temporary secretary. I worked for a temp agency, 10 years.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Wow.
Yikes.
So, as someone who I'd say I'm a recovering people pleaser, and I think that that's something that a lot of women and young girls are kind of like force fed. Just in general, like your needs come after the needs of others. Once you've served a purpose for other people, then you get to do stuff. And so I'm just curious, how were you able to get out of people pleasing and self pleasing? Because that is such a journey, and it can even be hard where you starting to be like, you know what, I'm putting myself first, and then you have to combat the, well, what about this person or what about that? So how were you able to get to that place and to where you are now, where you're helping people with laughter and enjoying life more?
Hmm. I never understood expressions when I was a kid, like
Mm.
the things that people say, like you have to have a job to get a job and all of those things and wait until retirement, then you can live your life. It's like,
Mm.
like you work your whole life and then it's so I knew of a couple who had traveled around the world for a year
Mhm.
in, Europe and Africa and I was like, "Oh, I want to do that." And so I set forth to do that, and that changed everything. Traveling when you're young,
Mm.
like going out and just hoofing it with your pack on your back, and that's it. and maybe you're with somebody, like hopefully that would be great. But that's how you know if you can live with someone. If you can travel with them, you can live with them.
Good point.
Right? Because you're together 24/7, unlike except during cuckoo time where you're shut down. Um, but normally when and yeah, we got to laugh about that time, those dark times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You know, usually when people are a couple, they live together, but they work separately. You know, we spend a
Hmm.
lot of time at work, so you're really not together and then you're sleeping half the time. So,
Yeah.
but when you're traveling together, yikes, that's when you get to know you and get to know them. And yeah, so that changed a lot of things in my life too. That gave me freedom to
Mm.
realize, oh, I am self-sufficient. I do need to stand on my own. This was before cell phones and all the things.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that led me on a path that was different than other, where I
Hmm.
wasn't like, you know, when I was planning to go on the trip, the accountant in the company, I was 27, and the accountant in the company I worked for said, "These are your prime earning years. You're never going to get this money back." I was like, "Huh? What? What does that mean? Like, this is my prime living years."
Mm.
I'm never going to have this much energy and
Right.
this health again. I'm never going to be 27 again. So I didn't understand that. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. This is going to be the best education I could ever have.
Mm.
And it was, and it was, I'm still so incredibly grateful. I still, all these years, almost, you know, whatever, 30 something years later, I'm still remembering those
Mm.
experiences, like certain, oh yeah, remember that day. I'm still with my husband.
Oh,
And right. So I think those things build character.
yeah. Hmm.
So that's
Ah.
that's how I've been a work in progress. And I'm always because my stepfather died so young, I've always been about staying healthy. Like I don't
Mm.
want to get sick and then get better. Like, oh, then you have a great story. And that is a
Right.
great story, but it's why not just stay healthy and do good things now? Like you can eat the junk food and do it, you know, binge watch and do the things. It's not a life. It really is not, because then you get sick, and
Yeah.
because those foods and those behaviors are not serving us to bring us to our purpose. It's just
Yeah.
numbing, you know, and we're just surviving. We're really meant to thrive and enjoy the process, not be struggling and resisting. It's like you said, you look like you're in flow or whatever you said at the beginning. That's it. When you found your way, opportunities come and you say yes and you go, wow, okay, look at I'm over here now. And it's not, my life is not like anybody else's.
Mm.
And that's what I want for everybody.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm just so curious now also to understand what is your definition of success? Because I can definitely imagine that it's not like the traditional, you got to have this, you got to do this, you got to do that, but you do have such a peaceful vibe and aura. So I'm just curious, what do you define success as? And then is there anything that society defines success as that you might not necessarily agree with?
For sure. Yes. Success for me is definitely personal. It's
Mm.
not how much money you have or the things and all the, you know, the list. Oh, yeah, that, oh, da, 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 all the things, right? No, for me,
Mhm.
it's really personal, and it's a feeling. It's like when I wake up, have I been a good person?
Mm.
Even though I'm not a people pleaser, did I serve somebody else? Because when
Yep.
we're serving we're serving us and we're serving humanity,
Yep.
just in a way that it's raising the vibration. But I don't mean in a fake way.
Mhm.
Just, you know, just waking up and doing good, being on purpose and kind of marching to my own drummer. That's success for me.
I love that. And were you going to say something else? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to
Mm.
say for society, it is the kind of the list, like, oh, you know, happy relationship, and boom, if you don't have that, oh, you're a failure. Whoops. No,
Yeah.
it's a learning bump. That's it. Or if you don't have the house and you don't have a certain income or certain job, you don't live in a certain
Mhm.
area, all of the things, that's seems to be how society deems success. And I think with social media, we are looking at other a lot and we're like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, look at the boat they have. Now I want a boat. I don't even like boats, but now I
Right.
want one because Joe has one.
Yeah.
It's really like comparing, and it's harmful. It's harmful to us living our best life.
I definitely agree. And I think that society, like you mentioned social media, we're only seeing brief snippets of people's lives, and they're usually putting the best of what's going on. But in terms of traditional society, most people that I've met that have the societal version of what success is, a lot of them are really miserable. And they're always, this is just what I assume, they always get the newest X, Y, and Z. They always have to have the newest, the latest, the best, the this, the that. And to me, I just immediately assume that there's a void somewhere. Like, what are you trying to
Mm,
fill? Who are you trying to prove to? Like, because from different books and things, because I'm an obsessive learner, so like a lot
mm,
of people that are financially secure in things, which is something that society deems as successful, they are driving their old cars and living in a different way than what society tells us is success. So through your practice and helping people to kind of get out of that mundane, I just feel like it's a cycle where it's
mm,
never enough. You gotta buy this to show, hey, look, I have this thing. But like, how many pairs of shoes before you say I have enough shoes? Or how
mhm.
many new cars do you have to lease or new phones? And so my question is, do you notice a pattern with people like that? Or do you even come across those types of characters? And not saying that those people are bad or good, it's just a general observation. I just assume that there's something that they're lacking and they're trying to create a different narrative. So is that something that you've come across in your practice or anything that you just observed in society as a whole?
Yeah, exactly as you said, people are striving to show the biggest, the best. Like there's a show that talks about like these giant yachts. And
Mm,
they have a big yacht and it's massive and it's got all the things and a ballroom and I don't know, swimming, all the things. And they're interviewing these people and they're saying, "Oh, but I'm but getting the next biggest one. Like
mm.
this is okay, but it's more like a dinghy."
Oh, wow.
Right? It's just like, and I really feel like the more stuff you have, the more stress you have, because
Yeah.
the more security you have, because the more people are going to come and take your stuff, right? That's what
Yeah.
you think in your mind. You're like, oh, we better get a better camera system or, more
Hmm.
security because, wow, that thing's really expensive. Where
Wow.
if you don't have that, when we were traveling, we met some amazing people. They may have been illiterate
Mm,
and have, not that they were homeless, but, maybe just live in a room and they were happy-go-lucky. They didn't have to worry about their stuff when they were out and about. They were just living life.
mm.
And it seems that's what I observed over there. And that was in 1989, 90. So that was a long time ago. And I realized that people kind of in North America are obsessed with stuff and
Yes.
more stuff and stuff rather than not so much experiences, because that seems to be the thing now, like people
Yeah.
jet setting all over. I'm not talking about that kind of experience, but the experience where you're interacting with people, you're going for walks in nature, you're just
Mm.
relishing in day-to-day life in the mundane almost.
Yeah.
Like the mundane becomes awe-inspiring. Like I was out watering my plants the other day. And I found this. I have a worm composting business, so I'm fascinated by like nature and stuff.
I love
And
that.
the cicadas that make the zzz when it's hot
Hmm.
by
Hmm.
rubbing their wings, they're like the big grasshoppers or something. They're big.
Hmm.
They're not grasshoppers. I know they're just big cicadas. Well, they come out in
Hmm.
nymph form. So they live underground for 14 years. Some of them live underground for
Yeah.
14 years. And then they come out when you have that emergence. So the nymph comes out and it clings onto a picnic table or a wall or something. This was, yeah, in my flowers. And so the skeleton, the nymph was there. The cicada had broken out. So the back breaks open and it
Hmm.
emerges. It's just like, and I was like, wow, that's
Oh,
like,
wow.
wow, you got to be still and noticing, like not just like on your phone, whatever, watering the plants, like being
Yeah.
present. We think that we can multitask. And we can do several things, but only one thing at a time.
Mm,
Although we think, oh, I've got 16 windows open. Good for you. You only one is active at a time, right? Oh, I don't know. People just do like so many things at one time, and then we're really scattered. Our energy is
mm,
fragmented, and that increases our stress level. So none of those chores become enjoyable. They're all like, okay, I look at this list. Okay, at least I've got them all started.
yeah. No, that's accurate. And as someone who is evolving towards being more focused on one thing, I am just personally like I call it like squirrel syndrome. So I'll be like doing something and then I'm like, oh, squirrel. And so I go to the next thing, go to the next thing. But I started last year really working with children and like teaching them my own version of things. And so now everything is like, okay, if it doesn't have to do with helping the children, helping the next generation, then it's not something I really want to engage into heavily. Even with this
Mm,
podcast, it's a part of that umbrella. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from about feeling stressed because I always just thought, well, I'm a high achiever and I do a
mm,
lot of things. So of
mm,
course I'm going to be busy. I'm always busy and I just kind of got used to being borderline exhausted and borderline tired because that's how I know, well, I'm achieving things. I'm doing stuff. But now that I've found, I like to say what makes my heart sing, working with the children and seeing their smiles and did you watch this show? Like I have to watch this movie this week because I forgot to watch it last week and they
good.
like tore me up. So I got to watch this movie. But like those are the things now that suddenly I'm like, oh, I got to do this so I can. So, what makes your heart sing and what makes you glow on the inside out and is part of the reason why you decide to get up every day and smile and exist in a free-flowing space. So long story short, what makes your heart sing and how are you doing that on the daily basis?
Ah, that's so great. What makes my heart sing is self-care. I
Mm,
finally came to a place where it was acceptable for me to
mm,
put me first. So I have
yeah,
a very strict morning routine that's all
mhm,
about me. I wake up early. I always sleep is really important and health and wellness. My
mm.
goal is to live to 111.
I love
And
that.
lots of people live to 100 now or
Hmm.
105 or whatever. I want to live more.
Period.
And not just be alive. I still want to be living independently,
Mm,
still doing laughter yoga with maybe for pay, I don't know, not necessarily, but being compensated and doing still serving. I still want to be serving and taking care of myself.
mm,
So not just to get there to say I got there, because I probably wouldn't remember if that was the case. So I have a very strict morning routine. I get up, I drink a giant glass of water, which is one of my glasses. If they say you should drink 8 glasses or whatever a
mm,
day, that's one. I drink one before I go to bed. That's two, right? So two of my glasses of water are knocked out already.
mm,
I go outside and I earth, weather dependent. I'm in Canada, so if it's winter, not I don't do this. But I go outside barefoot, and that
mm,
connects me. It's called earthing. You probably know about it, where we get connected to the earth's energy
mm,
and we get to recharge. I get to recharge. I do some gentle stretches. I do energy work. I tap in first light on my eyes to reset my melatonin. I'm
mm,
saying a lot of things, but this is what makes my heart sing. I do some meditation, sometimes guided, sometimes not. I'll read. I'm also a philomath, a lifelong learner. It's a new word that I
okay.
learned, so I keep on
Oh,
throwing it in
I
because I
just
sound
learned
so
that
smart.
today too.
Philomath, I know you're one too. It's so
Alrighty.
great. And I would encourage everyone listening, especially young people, read every day, read every
Mm,
day. Even fiction, if you can read about people that are successful, even whatever your successful is, like I'm reading, who am I reading right now? Jim Rohn.
I
Uh,
love Jim Rohn. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Sorry. He's my favorite.
so fun,
Oh my
right? It's so
gosh.
great. I'm reading what is it? What's the title? It's five major pieces to the life puzzle or something. I may have
Mm.
got the words wrong, but it's something, it's like a teeny little book. And I went camping last week, and I have had this book for 20 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
I read it partially before, but obviously I didn't take in the message.
Mm.
Because I was camping last week and I was like, oh, let me take a read. And I rarely read fiction, by the way. I'm usually reading something so I can learn something,
Mm.
even on vacation.
Fair.
So I so I take this book. It's a teeny little book that okay, I can whip through this. I'm almost still just on the first chapter because there's five main
Hmm.
chapters, right? The
Hmm.
first one is philosophy, personal philosophy. And
Hmm.
it's so great. It's so great. I'm like, oh my gosh, every paragraph, I want to have a discussion group.
I love that.
Yeah, so what makes me sing every day is living my life with intention.
Mm.
Do you know Lynn McTaggart?
No, never heard
So
of
Lynn
her.
McTaggart did an intention. She's got like several books around the power of intention. And
Okay.
she's done several intention projects where they've lowered, they not that they necessarily ended the war in Sri Lanka, but it was a 22-year war.
Mm.
And, you know, shortly after they did their global intention project, there was peace talks over there.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like, did we do that? Who knows? But
Right.
they definitely had a part, right? Because it's the cosmic.
Hmm.
She wrote a book called The Field, and it's about like we're
Okay.
just the conduit.
Mm.
Like this sounds woo-woo, but
No, it
we're
doesn't.
here, we're in this body, but stuff comes in from here, it comes
Hmm.
from below, and we're just in the field. That's why when you get an idea and you don't run with it, you're like, oh my God, that's such a great idea, but you don't do it. You're like, not right now, I'm too busy. You put it on the shelf. And then 6 months later, you're like, oh my God, that was my idea. That's
Yeah.
right. Because it was given to six people. I don't know how many. Right?
Yeah.
And somebody was like, oh, I'm doing it.
Hmm.
And that's what I do. When I get that inhale of breath where I go, oh my
Mm.
God, I take an action. I either write it down, I
Yeah.
email somebody and go, okay, I connect, make a connection. Start something in action because if you don't take action on that, other things fill the space.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been maybe out and about, you're listening to a podcast or a radio, you hear a website, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to connect with that person. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm so gonna do, of course I'm gonna remember when I get home because it was such a great thing. And then you get about
Yeah.
your day, and maybe a couple of days later, you're like, oh, I think I was gonna look at a website. Oh, what was that? Oh, it was on the radio, or it was on, oh well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
Yep.
Like it's still there somewhere, but it's not filed aware where you can just reach it and grab it.
Hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it also, have you heard of Florence Scovel Shinn?
No.
She has a lot of great, she actually was like an illustrator in like I think like the 40s and 20s time period, but she has a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. She has a few, but
Mm.
that's her main one. And she always says like follow a hunch. So when you get that inclination, that like that moment, like to take immediate action. And like even like Rev Ike, he's another thought leader that I really like. He says that once you get to a certain space, the universe will start to play games with you. So with this podcast, for example, I was like, okay, the idea just kind of like dropped into my mind. And I was actually taking a class at the time. And right when the idea of I should do this podcast popped in, the person, this was a pre-recorded class that I was watching, that idea popped into my mind. Literally, then the next question was, if I start a podcast, what should I do? And I was like, okay, that's to me confirmation because the idea popped into my mind. And then the next question that someone
Wow.
asked in the class I was watching happened to be talking about a podcast. So, of course, I did it. And I'm so like, and this conversation is just so like energizing for me because it's rare that you can find people who are aware of the different how the universe can operate. And granted, we don't know
Mm.
anything for sure. You know, there's all of these speculations, but there are certain things that we do know just based off of personal experience and things. So I'm super into this, but
That's what I want to say about Jim Rohn was that what I read in the first chapter was that everything that we need for a vibrant, beautiful, healthy, wealthy, successful life has already been written.
Mm,
Now we just got to read the books. Now we just got to read the material or listen to the audiobooks, although reading I think is better if you're able. Um, yeah, and it was like, oh my gosh, all said in different ways, right? So Jim
mhm,
Rohn, people might be like, oh, I don't like that tone. Okay. There's others, right? There's so
right.
many, I don't want to say thought leaders because then it makes us all followers.
Fair, fair.
But people who have insight and wisdom. And how did I originally get into this? I was a secretary. 17, I got my first job and when before cell phones and long distance calls. And I worked for an international hotel chain. And so I was called, and my parents are divorced. So I was calling my dad on lunch on the company dime. Whoops. Shh, it's okay. They don't know. I would call like 10-minute call or something. Okay, fine. So I call my dad. My dad never said anything bad about my mom. He never said anything bad about my mom. My mom would often badmouth my mom. Oh, your dad, blah, 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 blah. My
Mhm,
dad never said anything about my mom. And I was grateful for that. I loved my dad for that reason. I was like, that's so great. So this one day at work, my grandfather happened to be, well, I don't know how he was, but my dad asked, how's your, my grandfather lived in the same town, but my dad had moved out of town. And so he said, how's my dad doing? And I said, I don't know. And he launched all over my mom. He
mm,
started spewing all this stuff, and I was like shocked, and I started bawling. There I am at my desk crying. I'm like, okay, I gotta
mm,
go, Dad. Thanks for that.
right.
Um, right, I didn't know what to do, and so there I am bawling. Oh, people pleasing, bawling. Oh my gosh, this is not cool. And then my boss walks by. He could have been Wayne Dyer. He was the one that was hired for company disputes to go to court. He wasn't a
Mm.
lawyer, but to go and talk on behalf because he was a great talker. Okay, so he's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And I said, "Nothing." He grabs a box of Kleenex. He's like, "Come on in. Nobody cries at their desk for nothing."
Mm.
So I'm like, "Oh, crap. Now I got to go tell him what's wrong." Because he asked, and I can't lie because he's my boss, right? I didn't know I could if I wanted. And so so of course I tell him what happened. And the very next day I come in, there's Wayne Dyer's Your Erroneous Zones on my desk. And it was the first, I don't know if you're familiar with Wayne Dyer. I'm sure you are. No, Wayne Dyer. Oh, check it
Mm-mm.
out. He changed my life.
Okay.
So he
Oh,
wrote
good.
this book was called Your Erroneous Zones. And Wayne had Wayne Dyer's big mug on the front, bald guy with the little tufts of hair. I was like, oh my God, my boss thinks I'm nuts. And I'm a people pleaser. I got to read the damn book. And so I did. And in that book, what still sticks out to me today is nobody can make you feel anything.
Mm.
No one can make you feel guilty, right? I was feeling so
Yeah.
guilty. Oh yeah, I didn't get in touch with my granddad. Oh my, I should be I should. But
Hmm.
why didn't my dad know? It's his
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Come on, right? But I didn't know because society, right, tells us to feel
Hmm.
or that whatever. And so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
nobody can make you. And from that day, I was like, nobody can make. So when people say, "Oh, you're making me," no, I'm like, I can't. No, that's on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only you can react to what I say or whatever. But I can't make you. No, don't.
Yeah.
And so that really, and I was 17. So I've been on this
Mm.
path since 17 and a work in progress. It's
Yeah.
and hallelujah, I'm here and I'm in the flow and I know how to say no to the things I don't want, but yes, I say yes a lot
Mm.
because yes changes your life. When you say
Yeah.
yes to opportunities, holy moly, the gods provide because
Hmm.
you said yes.
Yes. And there, I don't even know what else to say other than yes. I can just listen. Like at this point, just keep going. I feel like you're in a real conscious state, and so I just let you just keep going. Is there anything else? I feel like you might. just like be on a roll right now, honestly.
Yeah, I just want people to understand that life is very precious. And we have this one opportunity that we know of at this time in this one body. Take advantage of it. If you're overweight, love where you are. Don't curse your body. If you have
Mm,
a knee problem or you're struggling in any way, make sure that you have gratitude because when you have gratitude, it seems so simple, but it's really a practice that you can just from there you say I'm grateful that I woke up because what happens in the
mm,
morning when people wake up, first their alarm goes off, they're startled.
yeah.
um, they snooze it, right? So more sleep, which it's jangled sleep. If you can wake up naturally, that's even better. If you can get in a rhythm, like going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. And rather than waking up and going through your to-do list and getting stressed before you even get out of bed, take a few beautiful, long, deep breaths just while you're laying in bed, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and think about three things that you're grateful for. I
Mm,
know if you're struggling and you're in a depression and you're in pain, this might be a challenge. Start with, I'm alive. Thank God I'm alive. I'm
mm,
grateful. Hallelujah. And then, wow, I have a house or I have a bed or I have good food to eat or whatever, it's simple things. And then something else will show and just be aware, like watch what
mhm,
happens. And they say if you're struggling, say with money, if you don't have enough money, go give money to somebody who has less money.
mhm,
If you're in a depression, go help somebody that is more depressed and help them up, right? Because when we're helping the other, we're serving ourselves. I've said that before, but it really does raise us all up, and that's what we need right now.
yeah.
Joy is our birthright. That's what I really want people to understand.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Phew.
Beautifully,
Thank you.
beautifully said. Of course. And I have definitely have more questions, of course, but I wanted to know, did you want to speak a little bit about your businesses and things? Just because I feel like we have a really good grasp of who you are, what you find important. And of course, I have more questions about that. And though I want to give you full um area and space to share what you do, share how people can work with you. I know you have like the worms and the laughter. So can you give us a little bit about that and how it all ties into who you are and how basically just the story, what you do, how it came about, and all that.
Yeah, so I really am I'm a laughter yoga teacher now, but it's the 23rd anniversary of my worm composting business.
Oh,
23 years selling
congratulations.
worms by the pound for indoor composting, worms in the house. I'm divinely guided, and we all
Mm,
are when we pay attention, when we
mm,
tap in. There's no connecting the dots back. We can only or forward. We can only look back and go, oh, that's why I met that person. That's why that. Oh, it
yeah,
makes sense now. And sometimes it doesn't ever make sense. Like, they say everything for a reason, but we don't always know the reason.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's a whole big long story with the worms, and I believe that's my mission work, although I'm no longer selling worms. I'm
Okay.
still educating about worms and doing worm workshops because I want people to understand that it's a possibility to
Mm,
to manage our food scraps and paper on site, like at school or at home, wherever we are. Um, and so in 2012, one more person said, "Ooh, worms in the house." And I'd heard it hundreds of times before, but I wasn't paying attention.
mm,
People don't buy what they need, they buy what they want. And they didn't want what I was
yes.
flogging. They
Yes.
needed it. They needed it, but they didn't want it. So, and just to understand the importance of the worms, I'm in Canada, just north of Toronto, largest city in Canada. And in 2002, our landfill closed. And Canada is second largest country in the world. And we couldn't find a place to site a new landfill, so we started to export our garbage to the US.
Oh, wow.
Dirty little secret. Who knew? People don't know, right? Even
Yeah, I
Canadians,
didn't
we
know
don't
that.
know. And because we don't know what happens to the garbage. We're
Nope.
not invested in that. We don't know. And like shame on us as Canadians for shipping our garbage out of the country. I'm not shaming the people, the government, by the way.
Yeah.
And double shame on the Americans for accepting our garbage for
Yeah.
cash. Not the people, the decision makers, whoever said that it was a good idea. Not a good
Right.
idea. Right? Exchanging garbage for cash. That's what Michigan did. They're like, okay, we'll take your garbage if you pay us a lot of money.
Mm.
And so our tax dollars hard at work. Oh, sorry, we don't have, we can't improve our education system because we spent it on garbage. Um, what? Hello? So I had a solution. That's why I like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And
Mm.
it is great. It just that it's a hard sell and I don't have repeat customers and all the things. So 2012, one more person said, "Ooh, worms in the house." And I questioned everything. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, universe? I've been at this for 10 years. I'm looking up because I'm like, that's what I was
Yeah.
doing. Help me now, which is what I would encourage people to do is ask for help. The universe is there
Yes.
waiting. There's all these unemployed angels waiting to ask
Mm.
because they can't help you if they don't know what you want. Okay, another little pearl. Um,
All right, ma'am.
you're
We
gonna have a
collecting
whole
them over
necklace by
here.
the end.
Okay.
And the very next day, I was introduced to laughter yoga.
Mm.
And I don't even do yoga, which I know it's a fine thing. Laughter yoga is laughing for the health of it. It was started in India by a medical doctor, and his goal is world peace. How wonderful. It's the 30th anniversary this year,
Oh,
and
wow.
I believe that it was started in 1995 so we could be ready for 2020.
Mm.
Because 2020, oh my gosh, right? Everyone got shut down,
Yeah.
and it was stressful. And And I think that there's a lot of people still struggling from that time on various levels. People have like we've
Mm.
swept it under the carpet, but there's not really trauma therapy for those 2 years that we lost. The 2 years that in Canada we were locked down for just about 2 years
Yeah.
straight. What? Like it's like if it was in a movie, you wouldn't even believe it. Like, no way they could lock down the whole world.
Literally.
Right. So that's when I started my online laughter club, and
Mm.
laughter changed my life. So back, oh, let me go back to 2012 because this is really, I think it's part of the things that got left in my path, the breadcrumbs that I can go back and
Mm.
go, oh my gosh, there and there. So this 20, okay, so at the business meeting, a 5 minute introduction into laughter yoga. I was like, oh, interesting. That same week, I was at a business event,
Mm.
about maybe a couple hundred people. The first woman I met was a laughter yoga teacher. And I was like, what?
Oh, wow.
Twice in one week? I said, laughter yoga's mainstream. And she said, no, it isn't. Like I'm the center of the universe twice in one week. Of course it is.
Sometimes it feels like that, though.
Right? It was just like, okay, here's something else for you. And I do love to laugh. Laughter yoga has given me permission. Her club,
Mm.
Toronto's a massive city, by the way. Her club happened to be 5 minute walk from my mother-in-law's place.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And my mother-in-law used to joke, she passed in 2021, but
Oh,
she used to
sorry.
joke that, oh, whenever Kathy asked me to do something, I always say yes because it's always an adventure. So I phoned her up. I'm like, hey, Mary, you want to go to laughter yoga with me? And she said, what's that? And I said, I don't know, but I don't want to go alone. And it became our date night. We would go out for dinner. And
Oh.
she was so beautiful. She would say, we better not have garlic, ha ha ha. And I say, as long as we both have it, it's fine.
Right.
And we would go to laughter. And so the first time laughter yoga, it's weird. The first time, have you heard of laughter yoga?
No.
Oh, good. So you've not done it. Okay, good. So the first time you do laughter yoga, like the first time you do anything, it can be weird. It can be awkward
Right,
because
right,
it's new, right? You don't have
right.
those neural pathways yet. So we went and you sit in a circle and you do these little games. It's not jokes or comedy.
Oh,
It's
okay.
laughing. It's laughing as a cardiovascular exercise. Now there are little games to inspire the laughter because
Mm.
people are in their head like it would be like just laugh. What? That no. And that would be hard. So there are
Yeah.
little games to inspire the laughter. So we're playing along and we're looking at each other like doing the side eye thing, like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? But still doing it, playing.
Right,
At
right,
the end of
right.
the class, we're walking back to her condo, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so weird. What a random night. And then the next expression is like, oh my, I feel great. How do you feel? I feel
Mm.
great too. Wow. Oh, wow. Huh, that was weird, but let's do it again next month. And so we
Wow.
did. Now it was just our habit at that time. And then her club closed because people don't know about laughter. They don't know the benefit, even though everyone says laughter's the best
It's the best
medicine.
medicine. Yeah.
It's true, right? It's scientifically proven, but we got to laugh. We got to take the dose.
Mm.
Right? When we laugh, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
Oh, okay.
Right? You get your daily dose. Yoop, just by laughing.
Oh, wow.
So she closed her club, even though it was at a very busy area of Toronto, like 20,000 people live where her club was
Hmm.
in condos. It was Condoville. And so I was like, oh, that's so sad. They just don't know this fun thing is right here. So I
Right.
said, I got to get trained. So I got trained as a leader. I love that so much. I got trained as a teacher, so I teach leaders now.
Okay.
And then I was appointed laughter ambassador. I was so
Oh,
gung
wow.
ho about this laughter, like it's so great. It changed my life because I think on a certain level, when people would say, "Ooh, worms in the house," I would take it personal. Like this is my
Yeah.
baby. This
Yeah.
is so important. No, this is my mission work. You're saying, "Ew,
Yeah.
that's offensive." Don't. Right? Because
Hmm.
as an entrepreneur, it really is your life.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing. I mean, worms maybe are a little bit on the creepy side for some if they've had an experience. And after laughter yoga, once I really embraced the practice of laughter, it changed how I reacted when people said, ooh, worms in the house. It didn't hit me the same way. It was like,
Mm.
ah, that's yours. Okay, that's not me, that's you.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was so helpful. So, yeah, it's helped me to become more resilient.
Mm.
I have rock hard abs from laughing because I laugh every day with intention. It's part of my health plan.
Okay.
And so it's deep diaphragmatic breathing. The yoga part of laughter yoga is the breathing and the
Hmm.
practice of the laughter. Like we don't meditate once and then check that out. Okay, good, I did that and never have to do that again. We don't jog once if we're joggers or, have a good night's sleep once. Drink
Hmm.
the 8 or 10 glasses once in a day, right? So these are all practices that make for a wonderful life. And it's
Mm.
really urgent. It's imperative that we put ourselves first, that we change the script on what society has said to us about putting others first and not being selfish and
Mm.
all the chatter because you can't give from an empty cup.
Nope.
You cannot. And you can't add more to a full cup. So when a cup is
Nope.
full, the overflow goes to the other.
Mm. Absolutely. I'm wondering, have you noticed, and granted, I know it's not like across the board and things, but it seems like um, the younger generation doesn't laugh as deeply. So, like, for example, my mom, like, anything that happens, you can hear her laugh around, like everybody in the house could hear that she's laughing. And then I laugh, but not as loud. And then my siblings, they're laughing. When they laugh, like sometimes it'll be like a loud, like out of nowhere, but I'm just seeing from them. And then just out in general, I'm noticing that children don't laugh as much or as loudly. And it might be because comedy is different. Like the things that my mom thinks are funny, like when we were watching it, we were like, this is some of the stuff she finds funny is hilarious, but some stuff is not as funny now. Um, but I'm just wondering, do you have any hypothesis or theories on that? Do you think it's like social media? Do you think it's like now what's being pushed for children isn't necessarily comedy related things? Just curious if you've noticed it and what your thoughts are, because it has been something I've been curious about. Like if you walk past a bus stop or something with children, they're usually quiet and they're just like,
Mm,
stoic and just like really to themselves. And I think it might be because of the 2020, like being at home for those times, or just in general, like even at the schools, they're not as um into school spirit, I'm noticing. So they play the games, and like that's what we do in our club. Like they're very active in the games, but in regular life, day-to-day life, they're not as engaged with what's going on, and even laughing as much. So just curious if you've noticed that and what your thoughts are, if you have noticed it.
Absolutely have. What you said, first of all, like social media, technology, the cuckoo time, all of these things. So, just about the energy, and I'll get to laughter in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a Tony Robbins session, and he said, and I hadn't heard this before about the lockdown. So, before the lockdown, we were doing things, we were going here, going there, we had all this energy. There was no point in having all that energy because there was nothing to do with it. So,
Mm,
we tamped down our own energy. We became less energetic during that time because there was, what else are we going to do? We're going to explode
fair.
otherwise. So, right? So that was, I was like, oh my gosh. So now I don't know how it is in Maryland, but I find that even for myself, I loved being out before. And now when somebody, if it's 2 weeks away, it's like, hey, you want to do this thing? I might go, oh yeah, that sounds great, and I write it on the calendar. And then when the time comes, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not really, oh, do I really want, I'm not, I didn't,
Yeah.
And when I do it, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did it. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and that's the same as before, that's even before the cuckoo
Yeah,
time.
same.
Like there's times where you're like, I don't know if I want to go to that party, but you go and you're like, oh, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's even more now, and I'm an extrovert. I do need people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that time, I think it really did mess people up. Back to children. So there's that. They're born today in this crisis world. Our house is on
Yes.
fire.
Yeah.
Climate change, food shortages. There's no jobs. You're never going to buy a house. Like, forget
Yeah.
about having a partner because everybody's, cheating and whatever, all these
Yeah.
things. There's war, there's famine, there's, what all the things that are heaped on. So
Yeah.
you're right. Children are laughing less, they're laughing shallower, and they
Mm-hmm.
have less energy because we're attached to our technologies. What is the name of the book? Oh, it's an Audubon. Richard Audubon is the author, and there's a quote. He won an award for it, a book award. It was from 2018, and there's a quote in there. Um, he coined the phrase nature deficit disorder. Have you heard this?
Mm-mm.
If you Google nature deficit disorder, that book will come up, and it's a
Okay.
great read, especially if you're working with kids. And
Okay.
there's a quote in there that from a grade 4 student that says, I would rather play inside than outside because that's where the electrical outlets are.
Oh,
Yikes. Right? So if your
yeah.
technology, and as a camper, since 2020, whenever we go camping, the campground is empty or like half empty. There's not, before it would be full, you had to reserve,
Mm-hmm.
and you might have to go to another campground because it was too busy. And I'm like, why aren't people camping? It's affordable family fun. And it's a great way to get your energy out and your
Mm-hmm.
curiosity up and, just inspiration with nature. Like, just for me, I'm in awe of camping because I sleep, like I always sleep well, but I sleep well. Like you hear a mouse in the forest and you think it's a bear and it's scary, but it's just a mouse
Mm-hmm.
or a squirrel. So I was talking to friends who have kids and they said, that it may be, even though there's Wi-Fi at most campgrounds, they may be concerned that what if they can't get connected?
Mm-hmm.
What if they
Yeah.
don't have outlets to recharge? Why would I sleep out there when I have a comfy bed? I don't like mosquitoes. Like all these things, or this one blew my mind. I've seen lots of nature documentaries, so I know
Mm-hmm.
what it is. Ah,
Oh.
oh, like, okay, you saw a show, great. That's not like you haven't experienced it. Or even
Mm-mm.
if you wore virtual reality glasses or goggles and you were
Mm-hmm.
can't on a camping experience,
Not the
it's not the
same.
same.
Mm-mm.
So I think those are part of the reason. So it's really, I think I don't know about the States, but in Canada there's a big movement towards forest schools. Outdoor ed, so just the whole school is outside. There's no classroom.
Oh, wow.
They
I love
spend like
that.
it's raining, they're outside. Whatever they're doing, they're just outside. Like there is place to go
Yeah,
inside,
yeah,
but
yeah, of
they
course.
spend most of their time
Hmm.
exploring outside.
I love
Very
that.
cool.
Yeah, a lot of my best memories as a child was in the forest, whether it was like camping the traditional way or with Girl Scouts. And I just have so many memories that I could just like pull from. And I do think that a lot of parents, even sometimes, I think it's easier to give your child a device or a tablet or something. And I, especially now, since I do have the gaming clubs, I try to really harp on the fact that, like, if your child is playing online, like, they're not just contending with the neighborhood, because then sometimes it's like a safety thing. And so a lot of parents are like, well, if they're in the house, they're on the game, they're protected.
Mm,
But I think it's a false sense of safety, because on in the neighborhood or at the park, you're contending with the neighbors who could still have some dangerous aspects. But when you're playing online, you're contending with the entire planet and
mm,
anybody who has access, and people that know that children are unmonitored for hours and hours and hours on the internet. So I think that sometimes it's a part of like, oh, I want to keep them safe. And I am all about keeping children safe. And there's a false sense of safety if your child is unmonitored online for hours and hours and hours and hours, because like children project just like adults. And I've had situations in my clubs, and thankfully it's just us, so I can like, hey, don't do that. And I'm usually very
mm,
tolerant, and like if they have a bad day or someone, children sometimes aren't feeling it, I'll let it slide, because I think
mm,
everybody should have a place to know, like, Coach Yana's not going to kick you out of club if you have an attitude that day. It's fine, because they'll usually self-correct within a few, like, 10 minutes or so. The only time though that I do have to like get my bass in my voice is like sometimes they'll share their address, like their literal street address. Like, I live
Aish.
on 123 Street on this and this and that. And I have to say, hey, don't do that. And I message their parent, or I go to such
Yeah.
and such elementary school. And it's okay because it's us there. It's me and these students. However, if you're telling us that, are you telling some random person? So I think that parents have to be aware, like, just because your child's in your living room on the internet, that could be even worse, because you never know
Mm,
who they're talking to. Um, with that being
yeah.
said,
Wow.
I would love to talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours, if I'm being honest, but we cannot. So I have three cliche closing questions, of course, but before that, is there anything that you wanted to say, anything you wanted to highlight, or anything like that that you didn't have the opportunity to already speak on?
Yes, I did mention my Tuesday club. It's free, it's on Zoom, and I would love to invite you and your listeners to come and experience the magic of laughing for the health of it. It's Tuesday mornings, 9:30 a.m., 30 minutes of super fun self-care. I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong,
Oh,
just to help people get out of stress and into joy. And we just celebrated 5 years.
oh,
So beautiful. And I get about 30 little Zoom squares. 4 or 5 are groups, special needs, community living,
oh,
long-term care. I'm
wow.
really serving everyone in my club. It's really beautiful. So everybody's welcome. Come and check it out. And I also teach people. So if anybody wants to learn how to do this, I train online or in person, and it's going to be the most fun you're ever going to take. And it's complementary. Like if you're a teacher, it goes with. You don't necessarily need to lead Laughter Club and just do this on its own. If you're a nurse and you're working with clients, just having that little giggle with people, it
Mhm,
changes the energy. So people go from stress and then you're laughing, ah ha ha, it frees you up. You're secreting the love drugs. You're fully
mhm,
oxygenated. So even if you're like giving blood or something, instead of being stressed, like, you don't like the needle, you could laugh, ha ha ha, which loosens your blood vessels so the blood will flow faster and easier and you can get
mm.
out of there quicker. Yeah, so I would say that's what I wanted to say. So it's kathysclub.com to get in touch.
Wonderful. And I'll be sure to put your description, so let's say put your description in the links. I'll be sure to put your links in the description.
Thank you. Good.
All right.
Yes.
So my three cliche questions that I ask everybody. The first one is if you can think of a time when you were in a dark space and you like when you were younger or something like that, what's one piece of advice that you know now that you wish you knew back then?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was silenced as a child.
Mhm.
Oh, I would wake up singing and chitting like it was like the one of those little birds, beep, 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 like saying anything necessarily and singing, and I got silenced. And I did go into a depression. Like I just became quiet. I was just like, and I'm grateful now because I'm a speaker and I have all these
Mm,
words to say. Yeah, I would really encourage people to speak up if something's been by if it's by family or a teacher or a friend or a neighbor. If somebody says something, especially if it's a friend actually, and you get offended by what your friend said and they're a good friend, don't wreck your friendship
mm,
just over that thing, and don't ghost them. Like approach them and say, I've this is how I felt when you said that. This is how it landed. And they might be like,
mm,
oh my gosh, I was totally joking and I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. Because I think if I had a said how I was feeling to my mom, she might
mm,
have like it, maybe that was just on me and I just took that on. Maybe she had a bad morning or something and was just like, ah, be quiet. Kids are meant to be seen and not heard, or
mm,
whatever it was. Or maybe she's just not a morning person. Right? So speak up and don't keep it in because
mm.
these things get in us and they become traumatic and then they shape those traumas
Yeah.
shape who we become and we don't even understand why we don't speak up, why we're silent in that relationship and they're wondering why don't you
Mhm.
say what's on your mind because you couldn't as a child so you don't feel safe
Mm.
as an adult. So yes, that's a long answer.
No, that was perfect. Perfect, perfect. And I always say, like, if you can't talk for a long time when you're being interviewed on a podcast, when else can you? So no, no stress there. My second cliche question is just like the universe, the internet works in mysterious ways. So we have no idea who's going to listen to this, who's going to watch it, or
Mm.
who's going to interact. Is there any person or organization or group that you would really like to work with or interact with that could help you in any way, shape, or form?
Wow, yes, there is. Um, I have since 2020, I've had this idea of training young adults with Down syndrome to be laughter yoga leaders. So they can lead laughter yoga for their demographic. And it may not be Down syndrome, it may be other forms of special needs. I'm not sure. That was who came in my dream or my vision.
Mm,
And so if anybody works in that area, with Down syndrome in specifically, because that's what came, parents that have a child maybe, and they'd like to partner or talk to me about what it is, or anybody in that works in that kind of not-for-profit world would be a great connection.
wonderful,
Call me.
wonderful. Right. Okay. And actually, that brings us to the last cliche question, and you kind of already touched on it, but just if someone wants to learn more about you, work with you, what's the best way to get in contact? Of course, I'll put your link in the description, but like email or Instagram, all the things. What's the best way to keep in touch and follow your journey, and then also just work with you in general?
Yeah, so cathysclub.com is my laughter page. Cathyscomposters.com is my worm page. If anyone wants to know more about that, we do need more worm growers. Um, yeah, I think every town should have a worm farm. Uh, I do have a whole big vision for that, but I think I've moved on to laughter. It's a lot easier. And
Fair.
and and I moved on to laughter, by the way, because since 2020, people are really struggling mentally. And if you're in a mental crisis, it's not possible to care about the planet, never mind your neighbor or your mom or
Yeah.
anything. We can only, like, how do I get out of this? And we don't even know to ask that question. We're
Yeah.
just in this dark tunnel and we don't know what to do. So I that's my role, that's my goal right now is to help people elevate so they can see the light because when we feel good, we do good. And I
Mm,
want people to do good because then you feel good. So when we
yes.
feel good, we do good, and when we do good, we feel good.
Mm,
It's that reciprocal thing of and then we sleep well because we did good and we felt good
mhm.
and we raise up the other. Oh, what was the thing about one negative comment? I mean, it's or not,
Yeah.
one negative deed is, you know, it takes several positive deeds to overcome that. So if we just
Mhm.
keep doing positive things, one candle takes away the darkness, though,
Mm,
right? One
yep.
candle, and then you add a
Yep.
second one, it's brighter and brighter and brighter. But one candle, darkness
Yes.
gone, can't survive.
Whew. Yes. I'm going to give you a signature round of applause for
Whee!
a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And I never heard it put that way, that one hand. I've heard that thought process, but never in that way, that
Mm,
one candle can take away the darkness. And I, for one, feel very just energized from this conversation. And it was a pleasure. Like I said, I could, like, there's some people I could talk to all day. I could listen to you all day, to be honest. It was just, you have so much wisdom. And I'm just thankful that you're shared, that you're out here making, being a part of the solution and not just acknowledging that there's a problem.
mm.
You also are very compassionate with your words and things. And so I just want to salute you and commend you for that. And I'm definitely rooting for you all the way around. And this was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.
I think we would be great friends. Thank
Yes,
you.
me too. I was like, ooh, what day was that club again? You will be seeing me. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you guys got something out of this. I know you did. I know I did. We could probably make a necklace with all the gems that Miss Kathy dropped today. But I'll talk or I'll post this. And if you want to work with her, please click the link in the description. Bye, everyone.